This mission is about coaching people through change. Coaching is an important tool for change leadership for several reasons. Coaching is how we ask our people what they need in order to execute the change most effectively. It's the ask conversation. Coaching builds respect and trust and helps people feel that they have some control in making change happen. In this mission, we're going to share some best practices for listening and asking questions, the two core skills of coaching. We will also cover how to time your coaching conversations for the best results. Lastly, we're going to give you a list of change questions and best practices you can use to improve your change coaching immediately. So let's dive in. In the previous mission, we learned that change advocates must paint a clear, vivid vision and direction for change. That's the tell of change conversations. They also help people understand the reason behind the change and the benefits that will make the change worthwhile and essential. That's the sell of change conversations. Finally, they must turn and ask their teams responsible for executing the change what they need to move forward most efficiently and effectively. That is the ask of change conversations. Many change efforts struggle because leaders have never learned the art of coaching people through change and holding the type of meaningful dialogue that enrolls and empowers the people who might otherwise resist the change. Here are some reasons that coaching works so well in helping people adapt to change. Remember that people are either in a toward state or an away state. A leader who is a good coach helps their people get into and stay in that positive, open, toward state. Leaders who coach build psychological safety in their team members and create high trust teams. Research by Accenture Consulting found that high trust teams navigate change much more easily and effectively than lower trust teams. Google's Project Oxygen research summed it up this way. The single most important managerial competency that separates highly effective managers from average ones is coaching. We would add that this is especially true when it comes to executing change. So let's explore how you can develop your coaching conversation capabilities. We know that good coaching is the ask conversation of change. Good coaches know that language matters, and how you phrase your questions can make a big difference in how they are received. When you compare the questions on the right with the ones on the left, why do you think the list is more likely to create a receptive toward state, while the other questions may create resistance to change? What do you notice about the difference between the questions on the left and the questions on the right? What most people notice is that the left side is future-oriented versus past-oriented. It's solution-oriented versus problem-oriented. The questions are open versus closed, and it's about joining hands on the left while pointing fingers on the right. Others notice that the words on the left are more respectful versus the questions on the right can come off as disrespectful. Careful phrasing of the questions we ask about change can make all the difference in the change receptivity of our people. We covered how to change your own self-talk to help you become a role model of change resilience in the previous mission. As a coach of change, you'll want to listen for the type of things your people say about change, particularly when they're struggling with the change. When you see someone struggling with fixed mindset and self-limiting language, encourage them to try on some new, more positive ways of talking about their struggle with change. You might even share how this practice has helped you become better at adapting to change and seeing failure as a learning opportunity. The four-step GROW questioning process is the easiest way to coach people through almost anything, including change. Asking questions using the GROW questioning pattern is a keystone coaching skill. The GROW coaching conversation steps are like a four-step dance. Anyone can learn the 4 steps pretty easily, but becoming masterful at it is a lifelong practice. The dance analogy here is a good one. The more you practice, the easier and more fun it becomes. Keep up your practice, and soon coaching people through change will become second nature. The 4 GROW questions help someone think through to their own conclusions about the best way to move forward. Here, we're talking about helping them find their way to take ownership of the change. The coaching structure is fairly linear, moving from goal to current reality to options and finally to way forward. But we should always follow our natural curiosity and ask clarifying questions at any time. This questioning process also helps keep you able to discern someone's readiness to implement change. So let's look at some ready-made questions to coach people through change. Each type of question serves an important purpose. We ask goal questions until the coach and the coachee are both crystal clear about what success looks like. With change, this is about the future state, the outcome we will experience once the change has been implemented. We ask current reality questions to uncover change readiness, bring fears and blind spots to the light, and to help open up the thinking of the coachee. We want to get a read on their motivation and their resistance level. We move into options to empower people with choice and build their accountability to take action. Options questions build ownership of the change with the employee. Finally, we ask way forward questions to nail down timeframes and commitments to change implementation. Coaching is most fun and effective when you go slow to go fast. In other words, we encourage you to ask 3 to 5 goal questions at the start of a change conversation. Getting crystal clear alignment on the positive outcomes makes the rest of the coaching conversation easy. You will also want to ask 3 to 5 current reality questions to get a full understanding of the change readiness of the coachee, their motivation, their resistance, as well as their blind spots or faulty assumptions that could keep them from succeeding. Taking the first parts of the coaching conversation slowly helps the entire process go quickly. One of our challenges for you in this mission is to write down your own favorite goal and reality questions to help you find the questions that best suit you and your particular situation. To help you get started, we're going to put this slide in the mission as a download so you can keep it handy as you gain comfort in the GROW coaching process. You know, it's almost always true that leaders experience change before their teams. You can use a coach approach to help your peers understand and adapt to change before trying to roll out the change across the entire organization. After all, if the leaders don't own the change, people smell it. Helping your peers and any leaders who report to you truly understand and own the change is important to tackle up front. Always use coaching to support those who are leading the change first. They are the ones who need to hold their focus during times of change. Leaders experience the change curve before the rest of the organization, but everyone must eventually traverse the entire change curve. We've said before that listening is your best approach to help people move through an emotional resistance to change. People need to feel that those who have power care about their concerns and will listen to them. Listening to people's reactions is just as important as explaining the reasons for change. Listening is how you'll be able to discern where people are on the change curve. Listening shows respect. It shows you care. Strive to listen for people's readiness to change. Always seek to understand their point of view. We've also talked before about how your conversations need to vary according to where people are along the change curve. This is as much an art as it is a science. Generally, You want to paint a clear picture and direction of change and the reason it is important to make the change first, then move into coaching. But these shifts in conversation are not strictly linear. There's a need to inform, to advocate and sell all the way along. It's also important to listen and ask questions all along. Coaching is about engaging in a two-way dialogue. People always adapt better when they are listened to and they feel they are part of the change. We've talked before about a deeper way of listening to discern change readiness. Active listening can be a great tool to help you dig deeper with people to discern their readiness to change. Active listening is about clarifying the following 5 things you heard after someone has given you a lengthy answer to one of your questions. In active listening, you say something like, "This is what I heard you say happened, the facts. This is how it seemed to you," or "this is how you interpret those circumstances. And this is how you feel about it. And I heard your commitment is," in other words, your interpretation of what the larger commitment is, like serving the customer or teamwork, before finally ending up with a question like, "Did I understand you correctly?" One of our challenges to you this mission is to practice your active listening skills with a coaching buddy and to try those skills out in an upcoming change coaching conversation. You'll find that in the mission. We've mentioned before that mobilizing help to remove obstacles to change is a part of your job as a leader of change. Your coaching questions will help uncover those unanticipated barriers to change that are never fully foreseen by anyone, but the frontline people executing the change. Being willing to seek out and listen to how people struggle with change and then taking those concerns back up the ladder when appropriate is an important part of your job as a change advocate, an important outcome of the Ask conversation. Let's finish up with some best practices for coaching change to help you become what Darwin described as the most responsive to change. You want to coach people to advance them along the change curve, listening for their change readiness. You want to encourage new perspectives by asking incisive questions, challenging assumptions when perspectives are limiting people in their ability to adapt and to implement change. You want to ask questions that focus people on what they can control to empower them as they deal with the discomforts of change. You want to use coaching to get your leadership team on board with the change approach first. You want to listen for unanticipated obstacles to change, and then, if necessary, report them back up to the people who can help remove them. You want to keep searching for better ways to ask questions, to become a virtuoso at coaching people through change. That's something you can develop for a lifetime. Bottom line, we encourage you to trust and learn to rely on the GROW model. It never fails. For a deeper dive into the GROW model, check out our full Coach to Lead program at learn.coachtolead.biz. Good luck with your Ask conversations and helping people through change.